We're now going to examine the issue of fair discipline from the point of view of the caring growth leadership model. You remember that we indicated that empowering people meant to give them the means and the ability and the accountability to do what's required of them. Now, from the point of view of holding somebody accountable, the first thing one has to establish was whether what the person did was actually unacceptable or below standard. Once one's established that, the first question to ask here is, was this a means issue? In other words, did the person not have the tools, the resources, the authority, the standards, etc., to do what's required of them? And if this is the case, you can't censure or punish the person because, in a sense, it is your fault. You've not given them the means. The next question to ask is this an ability issue? Does the person know how to do what's required of them and why they should do it? And if either of these things are not in place, then you can't censure or punish the person. You've got to make them able. So if the person either doesn't have the means or doesn't have the ability to do what's required of them, you can't view these two issues as disciplinary issues. In a sense, the fault is yours. However, if the answer to those questions is yes, in other words, the person does have the means to do what's required of them, and they are able to do what's required of them, in a sense, you've crossed a border into a new territory, and that territory is called accountability. You have to hold the person accountable now. Now, the only discrimination still to exercise is to ask yourself whether the person's performance was below standard because they were either deliberate or if they were careless. If they were careless, they should be censured, and if they were deliberately malevolent, they should be punished. Which means, from the point of view of fair discipline, it's absolutely important in the first instance to discount means and ability issues. Because once those two things are at issue, you cannot hold the person accountable. You can't treat this as an accountability issue. However, if you can demonstrate that the person does have the means and the ability to do what's required of them, you have to deal with them from the point of view of accountability. And if you don't deal with them from the point of view of accountability, you will by definition make the soft mistake, and that soft mistake will then lie at the heart of what we refer to as the let's not witch hunt syndrome before, which means that every time something goes wrong, it's an opportunity for us to impose yet another control.